What do you do on those days where you're just feeling kind of meh? You're just feeling like you don't have the juice. You don't have the, I think it's joie de vivre or whatever the French term is. What do you do when you just don't feel like you've got that creative spark? What I learned is that rehearsal or practice at having the spark is actually a way of getting out of that rut. And the way I learned this was I was actually leading a workshop, and I had come across this vocal warm up on YouTube that was a way to get your vocal cords prepped and ready if you were going to be acting in a play or singing on stage, or maybe you're in a band or something. And that vocal warm up had this really interesting effect on me because I would be maybe practicing the talk, or maybe I'd be even just prepping for some other conversations that I was going to have, or maybe online workshops that I was doing. And the simple act of doing this 10-minute vocal warm up where I said all these crazy rhymes or whatever it might be to kind of warm up your mouth and warm up your vocal cords and all that, it had this really interesting effect where I started to feel like I was getting into that groove. And I think the lesson is that when you are feeling mad, you're feeling uninspired, you're feeling like there's no spark, the counterintuitive idea here is that by getting started, by warming up, so to say, you actually get into that mode a little bit more. So, warming up writing, you could just be taking a 10-minute note for yourself by hand or on your computer. That puts you in the mood to write that email that you have to write. There's so many different versions of this. One other thing comes to mind is that sometimes I'll call people, like friends of mine or whatever, just to catch up for 15 minutes. And then I'll have maybe an important work call right after that. And if my full day had no calls until that important call, it was harder to get into that mode of being in conversation and essentially being extroverted in the way that I wanted to be on the call if I hadn't practiced it just before that. So think about your warm-ups. Think about, if I'm feeling meh, I'm feeling uninspired. Ironic thing is that by getting started, you will then start to feel the inspiration rather than the other way around. Anyways, I hope you're inspired this week. I hope things are going well for you. And I'll be back with more videos like this. You can always comment if there's something you're thinking about that you want to share. I'd love to interact with you here. And with that, I'll be back again very soon. Later.